Yes, sir.
Good. So yesterday we have discussed about the PHP introduction and the scripting elements on the implicit objects of JSPs that we have discussed yesterday, right? Now today we are going to discuss about as part of JSP we have some more things directives, JSP actions, JSTL. These are also we'll discuss as part of today's class. Okay. Now, what is directives? What exactly its work? Okay, directives are used. Directives are used by the JSP engine. Directives are used by the JSP engine. So, at the time of translation time, what is the translation time means? Converting JSP to Java servlet. So, at the time of that, these directives will give some information to the JSP engine. What exactly we need to convert from JSP to servlet. Those type of information will be given by directives. Okay. So, how many types of directives are there? Okay. There are three types of directives. One is include directive and page directive and tag leaf directive. Okay, what is the syntax of what is the syntax of directives? Any directive, the syntax is like less than percentage at the date symbol. Okay, without that we'll call it as a scriptlet, and with not symbol we'll call it as a declaration, right? With equal we'll call it as a expression. With at the date symbol we'll call it as a directive. Okay, with at the date symbol we'll call it as a directive. Now with at the date symbol we'll call it as a directive. Okay, now let's take off. This is just assume this is some example. Okay, the directive name you can give up include or page or tag lib. Okay, and what is the attribute? Okay, whether it's a page or import or value or whatever it is, there are some attribute name and attribute value we need to give. So depends on each directive, depends on the directive, it will give some, it will perform some actions. Now let's see, the first one is include directive. What is the purpose of include directive? Okay, now let's say we are writing some 10 JSPs. Okay, we are writing of some 10 JSPs. So out of that, there is some common code is there, or so there is some code is common for all the JSPs. Then in that case, what I can do, I can remove the common code and then I can create a separate file for that. Okay, and I will include of that file in the wherever that code is required in the other pages, other JSPs. So then in that case, it will use it for the code reusability. Okay, it may use it for code reusability. And if you want to include one JSP in other JSP, okay, then in that case also this include directive is useful. Okay, now let's see. So the include directive is used for merging external files into current JSP. If you want, there are some files is there. Let's say three files are there. Okay, let's say one is main file, other one is sub file. Two sub files are there. If you want to merge two sub files in the main JSP or main file, then by using this include directive, we can include them in by giving the name, not by the code. Just by giving that name of the file in the include directive, it will include that JSP in the main JSP. Okay, now let's say, and one more thing, include directive is used for merging the external files into current JSP page during translation phase. Okay, during translation phase. By using include directive, you can enhance the code reusability. We can enhance the code reusability. How exactly we can enhance the code reusability means reusing the reusing code means code reusability. Okay, now, suppose there is a certain code or data which needs to be there in all the JSPs. Certain part of code is required for all the JSPs. Okay, then in that case, we can simply create one file. We can simply create with the common code in separate file, and we can include that file in the main in the all the JSP wherever it is required, wherever it is required. Now which one we are seeing now? Include directive. Okay, the name itself is telling including something. Okay, the name itself is saying sorry, including something else. Okay, now syntax is this is the syntax common, and at the date is compulsory for directive, and the name of the directive include directive, and file it is a attribute name, and attribute value is it can be JSP or it can be HTML, it can anything. Okay, so JSP or HTML, if you're adding some JSPs at the time of loading this page, okay, the content of whatever the file that we are mentioning in here, that also will be included in the page wherever you are including this include directive. Okay, now we will take one example. We'll take off one example. Now let's say for suppose JSP directives. Let me. So what I did is, let's say, take for example of this is my welcome page. Just assume I'm displaying of before that we have seen some scriptlets, right? Let me take what is scriptlet is doing. What the scripted JSP is doing? Scriptlet test.jsp. Just I have created two variables. I'm summing and then displaying. Right? The purpose of this JSP is adding up two numbers. Right? Now there is one more JSP declaration test. What we are doing inside this, we are creating some non-static variable, static variable, non-static method, and static method, and we are doing up sum of two numbers also. Right? Now, these are the two JSPs. One is declaration test.jsp and scriptlet.jsp. What is my requirement is I want to include these two JSPs in my welcome JSP. In my welcome JSP. Now let's say for suppose control X. Let's say for suppose if I am running this JSP, nothing below, just welcome to JSP it will come. Okay, along with that, if I want to include up some other JSPs as well, if I want to include some other JSPs, let's wait. Now what is coming? Welcome to JSP is coming because we have written only in the welcome file only this one, right? Now I want to include some other JSPs also in the same JSP. Okay, then what I am doing, let's will take off only first one. Okay, control X. What I am doing, so just some message I am giving. Okay, even this is not required, just for messaging I am giving including scriptlet test file. Okay, and so this is the actual thing. Whatever the code, that JSP code is available inside scriptlet test.jsp, that code will be included in the welcome.jsp. Now let's, along with welcome to JSP, it will display other information as well. Now let's go and refresh it on it to. Now see that including scriptlet test file. Okay, addition of two numbers is 50. Now let's say for suppose if I want to include one more. Okay, now okay, let it. Now include at the date and include. Okay, and file. What is the next JSP? Write some JSP whichever you want, include declaration test.jsp. Okay, now this will include the code which is available in, this will include the code which is available in declaration test dot JSP code, whatever it has, that code it will be included in the, it will be included in declaration test file, so included in the welcome.jsp. Now I didn't restarted, still my server is in running mode only. Okay, now let's refresh it. So including declaration test file, including declaration test file, it internally it is calling of method 1 of non-static method and method 2 of static method, right? And it is displaying of add method sum. Okay, now let's go and see that 10 and 20. Now let's say 100 and 200. Now let's go and it should come as every time it will recompile that. Okay, now let's see, it is going to display of 300. This is a part of include directive. Include directive, is it clear guys what is include directive means?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So what is the use of include directive?
We can add files, sir.
Sorry, come again. We can
We
add.
can add files, sir.
Yes, we can add if you want to include any other files in the current page. Then by using include directive, we can add that files. Okay, by using include directive. Now the next directive is page directive. Next directive is page directive. What exactly it will give information? Okay, the page directive will give information about the page, information about the JSP. What exactly the JSP contains? What type of code? The Java code or JavaScript code? Okay, and what is the content type? Okay, content type as well as language and sessions is error page or session. There are many attributes is a part of page directive. What is the purpose of those things that we'll see now? Okay, now so the page directive is used to define the page specific attributes. Page specific attributes. Okay, now it provides that it provides attributes that get applied to the entire JSP. Whatever the attributes that we are adding as part of page directive. Okay, in the include directive, what we have added? We have added of only file attribute. Only file attribute is added. This is one of the attribute. What is the purpose of? To include some other JSP inside this JSP, we are using file attribute. In the same way, okay, in the same way, we will use of page directive. Okay, it contains of some attributes, so it will give some information to the JSP engine what type of content is available, what are the attributes of page directive. So based on that it will translate that. Okay, now let's see some of the attributes of that. What is the syntax? Now the syntax of page directive is it is same, everything in place of include will keep as page, and the next one is attribute and attribute value. We have some multiple attributes are there, we will discuss some of the page directive attributes. Now let's see the first one. The first one is language. Okay, the first attribute of directive is language. What exactly it is going to information to the JSP engine means, so it defines that the programming language, the programming language which we have written inside this, it will give that information to the JSP engine. Okay, now so language equal to Java, one of the like file name. Now language, what is the language? Java language. Either you can use Java or JavaScript or whatever that file, the name of the language we can give. Based on that, it will understood that the JSP engine. Okay. Now, next, what is the import directive? What is the input? This is one of the attribute. Okay, we'll discuss other things also soon. And next one is import directive. What is the use of import directive? Means, let's say suppose in JSP code you are using of some hash map or array list or some date class or whatever it is. Okay, apart from java.lang, apart from java.lang, if you are using any other classes, then we need of import statement. Is it correct or not? Right guys, if you're writing in the Java class, apart from Java lang package, if you're writing any other classes of any other packages, we need to import. Is it correct or not?
Yes, sir.
So, then in that case, whatever the import statements we are writing inside the JSP file, same we can write in the JSP by using import attribute of page directive. Okay, let's say if I want list interface, then page import java dot util dot list. Okay, if you want r list, like that we can give import statements by using import page attribute of page directive. Okay, is 2 is clear? The attributes of page directive.
Yes, sir.
Now next, content type. Okay, content type is like what type of content. Normally the JSPs will be executed by browser, right or not? So that time the JSP, the browser can understood HTML code, JavaScript code, right? So and some Ajax code, like that it will understood. Now what is my requirement is I am writing some HTML code inside JSP, the content type. Okay, text slash content. So content type is it is used to set the content type and the character set of to the response object. Response for setting this data, then response object will send to the client, to the web client or to the browser. Then based on the content type, it will understood and then it will execute that code and then it will render the response to the client. Okay. Now this is what the content type attribute of page directive. Now next, session. Next is session. Now let's we'll see through examples also some page directive exception scriptlet exception test. Okay. Now we'll see after that session. Okay, by default. Okay, by default every JSP at the time of executing the JSP, at the time of executing the JSP, a new session will be created every time. It will create a new session, but just assume that your requirement is you don't want to create of you don't want to create of every time a new session in the JSP, then we need to include then we need to include a attribute called here session. See, session by default it is true. Then if you are making it as false, then it will not create session at the time of loading the page. Okay. Now next one is thread safe. Okay, this is regarding if we want thread safe. If we want thread safe behavior of JSP, then we need to include is thread safe is thread safe. By default the thread safe is available for the JSPs. Okay, if you don't want that, then we need to make it as false. Okay. Now next one is error page. Next one is error page. Now what we are going to say that the error page is going to explain about we can say this is the error page for if any of the other pages we are getting some exception, then you can throw that exception to the this page. Okay. Now let's say for suppose error page equal to exception test dot JSP. There is a one more JSP called exception test dot JSP. Now what is there? This is the exception. Just I have given some message, right? Now if any exception is coming in this page, if any exception is coming in this page, then it will redirect to that exception page. Now let's run it. Stop it. We know that this page will give error because s equal to null, right or not? String s equal to null, out dot println of s dot length. What exception will get now, guys?
null type
null
exception.
point side exception.
Null point exception will get correct. See, this page is this is the exception page. Right or not? That means that exception is coming and then it is executed that exception page, right? So let's say for suppose if I'm not giving some value, just IBC. This time it will not execute that. Now let's see. This time what it is coming? It is coming some value is coming. What is the length of that string? Right or not? What is the use of error page? What is the use of error page here now, guys? It will redirect that if any exception is coming in the current JSP, then it will move that exception to the page which we have mentioned in the error page. Okay, and the next one is page encoding. Page encoding. So it will convert some it will use the JSP engine will use some encoding format of JSP internally. Okay, if we are not mentioning anything, by default ISO 8859-1 is the default encoding format of JSP if you are not specified anything. Okay, now let's say for suppose if you want to go to JSP and if you want to make anything is error page, there is error page, whether this page is error page or not. To tell that also we have attribute called is error page. Is error page, and these are the some of the attributes of page directive. Okay, what is the use of page directive? It will give some information, it will give some information about the page to the JSP engine at the time of translation page. Is it clear, guys? The page directive means,
Yes.
right? Now, the next one is taglib directive. The next one is taglib directive. This will be used as part of JSTL taglib. Okay, as part of JSTL. Now we will see this taglib directive at the end of the class today. Okay. Now, so JSP taglib directive is used to define some libraries to the current JSP. Then in that case, we can go for a taglib directive. The syntax is and everything is same, and here it will come as taglib. What is the prefix and URI? Whatever the attributes, whatever that is there part of this one core tag libraries, then all that we can access by using this object assume like for core tags this is the object, just assume like it is object. Through this core we can use of all the attributes of core tag libraries there is other SQL related tag libraries are there, formatting is there, like that different XML formatting libraries are there, different JSTL tag libraries are there, but mostly we'll use only core tag libraries that I will explain at the end of the class today. Now, so let's say guys, if I want to send a request to some other JSP or some other servlet, what we have used in the servlets? We have used send redirect method, right or not? Response dot send redirect method is used to send the response to some other JSP or some other servlet, right? In the same way we can use of JSP redirect also. We can use JSP redirect, guys. What we have seen yesterday, not only yesterday, in the servlet class, if I want to execute first start from first start servlet to second start servlet, okay, then what we can do, send redirect of second path. If you are giving the second servlet path, then it will execute of second servlet, right? In the JSP also, in the JSP also we can redirect, we can redirect if you are executing one JSP. Inside that, if send redirect is identified, then the request will go to the send redirect which we have mentioned inside that, and it will execute of that part. Now let's say for example of if I'm taking start, just to take this one. Okay, now so what I am doing, let's say create a JSP redirect. Already it is available. Okay, now what I am doing, I have given one site URL. Whichever you are giving, it will redirect to that one. In servlets we have seen this one. Okay, even the same we can do in JSP as well. Okay, the response is one of the inbuilt object that we know, that implicit object, right? Response dot send redirect of the site which you want to redirect. If I am executing this JSP, if I am executing this JSP, it will open Google page. It will open Google page. Now let's go and see that. Is it clear, guys? So this is of send redirect. Send redirect. Now Now the next part is we'll go and see of JSP action tags. Okay, even till now we have seen directives, guys. Till now what you have seen, directives, right? Now we are going to see JSP actions. Okay, JSP actions. Now even we can use these JSP actions to include the file, to set the data, to get the data, like that. There are multiple ways are there to use of JSP actions. Okay, multiple approaches to use JSP. Include directive, like that we can include of multiple approaches to include the other files. One of that is now again JSP colon include action. JSP colon include action. Now let's go and see that the syntax for JSP, out of JSP actions, one is JSP include. JSP colon include. The meaning itself is saying you are including of some other page here. Now here at the time before we are using directories, right? Percentage less than percentage at the date and include and file name we are giving. Now as part of actions we are using of JSP colon include. JSP colon include and page. Before you are using of file name, right? File and file name. Now page and here page URL or page name, whatever that is there. Now let's go and see some examples. Now we can use even in case of here also. In case of what we are using, here we use a include directive. Now in place of this, in place of this, let's comment Control X and Control V. What happened? Says please write Control X. Okay, for my comments are not. Let's in place of this instead of writing this one Control Z, let's write it now. So in place of this one I want to use of what is that, guys? JSP colon include. JSP colon include, and we need to use of page. Need to use of page. And next here also we need to use same like JSP colon include. Now What is that? JSP colon include page. Let the use of page here. Okay. Now let's run it. Now let's run it. Before also it was. One second. JSP colon param standard action with the name and value attribute. Welcome.jsp. Go to welcome.jsp. Page something. One second. Where is that action tag, right? Yeah. JSP actions. Let's go and open some main JSP. Okay, we didn't closed. Let's see why it is. See it. Line number, yeah, now it is loaded. See that? So with JSP includes it is working, as well as with include directive also it is working both. Guys, did you observe that? With both JSP included is working, as well as JSP include directive both are working. Okay, both are used to include the other JSPs inside current one. Okay, or else if you want to, this is one requirement. If you want, other example is also like I have added here. It is now it is header.jsp added, footer.jsp added. The main.jsp contain some value, some message. Now let's run it. This is of header information. Sorry, this is header information. This is footer information. Now let's go and see what header information contains. Header information contains welcome to IBC Techno, right? Welcome to IBC Techno, that is included, and the footer section is footer. So footer section contains just I have given some phone numbers. Okay. Now so both it is included inside this main.jsp by using JSP include. By using JSP include. This is one way. Now my requirement is I want to transfer the control from one JSP to another JSP. Then in that case we can use of JSP forward. This is for including. Okay. If you want if we want forwarding the request to some other JSP from this JSP, then we can use of JSP forward. JSP forward. Now let's see that. What is the syntax for that is JSP colon forward is used for redirecting the request, redirecting the current request from current JSP to some other JSP. Then you can use of JSP colon forward action tag. Okay. So whenever that JSP engine is encountered this one, okay, on the page, then it transfer the control to different page. Okay, transfer that page to the mentioned action page, whatever we are mentioned here in the page URL. Okay. Now let's say for suppose first JSP and second JSP I have taken some example. Okay. Now let's say for example first.jsp. What I am doing here, so this is my first page. If I am executing this one, if I am executing this one, then it will execute of second.jsp. First it will execute the first.jsp, and then it will move that to second.jsp also. The it will transfer the control to second.jsp. Okay, what exactly second.jsp? I have given some message, it doesn't matter. Now our requirement is whether it is transferring the request to different page or not. That is our requirement. Now let's see that. So which JSP is included executed, guys? Even the here it is showing as first.jsp. Okay, but internally it is forwarding that request to second.jsp. It is forwarding to second.jsp. Is it clear, guys? This part include and forward. The forward case is now this is forwarding that request from first.jsp to second.jsp. But even though the URL contains of first.jsp, but internally it is forwarding that to second.jsp, and it will execute of only the second.jsp response, whatever it is there, that will give to the web client. Only that response will be displayed. Okay. Now, along with now my requirement is along with forward, I want to send some information. I want to send some information to the second.jsp. Then there is a action tag that is called JSP colon param. JSP colon param that will be used for sending some content information to the targeted JSP, to the whichever the JSP that we are transferring the request. Okay. Now now let's go and see the syntax. JSP colon param, name of the param and value. Okay, now let's, for example, we will take up some data. Okay, now in the third.jsp, what it is, JSP include page equal to fourth.jsp. Okay, and it will go to the fourth.jsp, and this information also it will go to the fourth.jsp. There how can you get that information means by using of by using request.get parameter of username, request.get parameter of password. Okay, now let's go and see that. Where is .jsp? Yeah. Now, what it contains? It contains of JSP include and page is fourth.jsp. Apart from this, I added some parameters also for this. Okay. Now, let's go on third.jsp. Third, I didn't restarted. Okay. Third.jsp. So see that the employee details are username equal to IBC techno and password is techno test 1234. Now let's go and see in the first.jsp. Let's go and see in the where it is third.jsp, right? Yeah, third. What is the value? It is there IBC techno and the password is test123. These values are coming to the fourth page along with redirecting that page. Now our page is fourth.jsp, right? Now go to fourth.jsp. Inside this fourth.jsp, it is coming to the control, it is transferred that control to the fourth.jsp, and inside that fourth.jsp I am getting that values whatever that is set in the JSP param by using request dot get param of that parameter name. Is it clear, guys? The JSP param, the meaning of this is the one. Guys, is it clear?
So,
JSP param is clear, right?
Yes, sir.
Now the next part is use bean. Next part is use bean. So what is the use of use bean? Okay, use bean is like before going to explain the use bean. First, I want to explain one, the bean, Java bean. What exactly a Java bean means? Okay, what exactly a Java bean means that. Okay, now let's go and take up some example. I have created one class. I have created a class called employee class. What the parameters it contains? So it contains of some parameters: employee name, username, password, and employee ID. These are some. These are some of the parameters that are part of employee class. Okay. So a bean, a class can be a Java bean. We have some rules is there, some properties. Let's see that a Java bean is a class that should be having some conventions. It should be follow this one, it should follow some rules, like it should have no arg constructor. Okay, by default it should create it. That if it is not there means default constructor will be generated by the compiler, right? Now the next one is it should be serialized. It should be serializable because it should transfer in the network level. If you want to transfer any object in the network level, compulsory we need to be serialized. Java means we are transferring from one place to another place, compulsory it should be serialized. And next it should provide methods to set and get values of properties. Compulsory we need of some setters and getters, setter methods and getter methods to set the values and to get the values. If all these three are there, then I can call that class as Java bean. Then I will call that as bean. Also I can call it as a simply bean. I can call that as simply bean. Okay, so how can I create that same bean in the, how can I use the bean in the JSP? Let's say I created employee object, right? Employee class is there, I want to use that employee object in the JSP. Then there are some parameters or attributes are there. Those are sorry, there are some action tags. One is JSP colon use bean. This is for declaring, instantiating and initialization. For this purpose we can use JSP colon use bean. Let's say for example, if you want to create a object of employee class, okay, then the declaration, instantiation, initialization we can do by using use bean. Okay, now and by using JSP colon set property we can set the values to the properties. By using get property we can retrieve the values by using get property. Okay, now let's see the some syntax. Okay, now JSP colon use bean and ID, this is the instance name or object name of employee class, and some other attribute is class attribute. It should be given by package with the fully qualified name of a class. It should give fully qualified name of a class. Okay, now we'll see through practically. Okay, what I have done is first I have created one employee class, right? So I want to let's first do what I can do. I have created one registration page simply. Okay, what it contains: name, username, password, email. Okay, now what it contains: name, username, password and email ID. I have added some four parameters in the form and I am doing up some registration. Whenever I am clicking registration register button, okay, where it is going, guys? What is the action for this? What is the action of the registration page? This one, what is the action? Where it will go?
Employee details.
Employee.
Yes, it will go to the employee details dot JSP. How to capture this data? By using getter property, setter property, and use bin. How to get the details which you have entered in the registration form, register form. Let's go and see that now. So as part of this one, first we need to create use bean. JSP colon use bean is one of the action tag, right? So as part of this, what I am creating, first one is ID. It is the name of the object. It is the name of the object. Okay, it is name of the object. And the second attribute is class. Okay, if I'm small thing, if I'm changing also, it the compiler will identify that there is no class in this package. Undefined type class dot com dot employee. Okay, compulsory we need to give fully qualified path of the class. Okay, and close that use bin. So with this with this object I can get the details of employee which we have entered in the form. Now let's so after that, before going to get, we need to get the details in this JSP. Here in the form we have entered the data, but here we need to get the data, right? So after getting data, we need to set the data and then we need to get the data. So the setting is by using JSP colon set property. By using JSP colon set property method, name of the property. If I am giving star, if I am giving star means then it will all the properties of employee class and the registration bin, if both are same, then it will set that whatever the employee registered.jsp file contains the data, all that will be set to the employee object. Okay, this is where it will set the data. Okay, after that we can set the, we can get the data by using JSP colon get property. Okay, and property name is employee name and it should be in the employee class. It should be in the employee class. Now if you are getting error also, no worry guys, we will see that. Okay, I'll explain it if an error is coming also, no worry. Now let's now we got off some form, just IBC Amana. Now test is IBC, just assume password is some test 1 2 3 and value is ibc@gmail.com. I'm clicking. Now let's see, we are getting of first name is coming, last name is coming, email ID and everything is getting, right or not? Employee details data JSP. Now go to if employee name here, if the property name, if property name, if you want to change it, if you want to change the property username, second guys, this is the registration name, username, password and email ID, right? If it is not matching, now employee name and parameter, if the both are not matching, okay, through by using like this we can map it. Okay, but we are setting all the data, we want to set everything should be same of whatever that is there in employee class, you are setting same as like that in the class or in the JSP. Now X. Save it and I'm thinking of some different behavior here. Test and ibc@gmail.com. See guys, did you observe now what is the first name it is coming now? First name it is coming? Not, sorry guys, it is first name is coming as null, right or not? So why it is coming null? Null means the problem here is at the time of setting the data, at the time of setting the data by using set property as part of employee class, how many properties are there? How many properties here?
4.
4.
Now the name of the properties must match guys, that is the reason only you will not get sometimes your data. Now, what is my property here? Employee name. For right, for name, it is giving the name of the property is EMP name. In employee details.jsp at the time of registration JSP, right? At the time of registration of employee JSP, for the name, I'm giving the name attribute is name. Okay, but in employee, it is not mapped with, both are not same, employee name and registered dot employee inside this these two name attribute. Okay, both are not same. Okay, if that is the case, let's say just add employee name. Okay, and try now. It is not. Let me, employee name and the EMP details, that is also the name. Now let's go and register it. Test username is test test at gmail.com. Okay, now click on this. You must enter a valid email address. Okay, it is not allowing. Why it is giving red, guys? The reason is,
Right.
sorry.
The red, sir.
Yes. So the type I have given here as the type I have given email, right or not? So compulsory we need of at the date. Now see that if the property is same, now we are getting the values. Okay, let's say if property is, it is different. Now how to get the value of this? Now in the JSP, now we need to map and then set the details. Now here, so by using manually, by using set property of property name is property name of employee class is EMP name. Okay, and object name is EMP, and parameter name is this is the parameter name of the registration.jsp. This name we need to give inside here the property name. Then this value it will, this value it will set inside this employee name property of employee class. Now let's re-click it again. Okay, come on now, test 1234 and at gmail.com. Okay, now see that what happened, from at gmail.com, not comma. Now see that Ramana test 1 2 3 4. We're getting off all the details. Even though here it is name. So I'm getting the value of name from this, and I'm setting into in employee.details JSP by using setter property name of the employee object, and this is the name of the object, and this is the value of the text box which is getting that value from that. This is the name that I'm setting into this, and by using get property I'm getting in the next line 13, line number 13. Is it clear, guys?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Oh, I think I reverse it. First name, last name, email ID, password. It's wrong. It is display. Rectified it. Now this is of use bin property. Okay, this is use bin. Now we are going to. Is this one is clear, guys? Right? Now we will go to JSTL. Now we are going to JSTL. As part of JSTL, normally if you are writing most of the times as part of JSP, it is not recommended to write Java code. It is not recommended to write Java code, guys. Okay, but we can avoid that Java code if you are using JSTL tags. If you are using JSTL, JSP standard tag library. Okay, it is not recommended to write Java code inside JSPs. Okay, now now let's see what is the JSTL, what is the purpose of that. Okay, now what is the purpose of JSTL is we can do of fast development. Okay, we can do of fast development. Okay, and that simplifies the JSPs development. It will improve the productivity. It will improve the productivity. And next thing is code reusability. Okay, code reusability. As part of code reusability also we can use of JSTL. Okay, and if you are using JSTL, we no need to write scriptlet tag. We no need to write scriptlet tags. Scriptlet means as part of scriptlet we need to write of Java code, right or not? As part of JSP scriptlet we need to write only the Java code, right? So that will go underscore JSP service method. Now if you are using JSTL, we no need to write scriptlet tags. It will avoid that. Okay, now, how many types of JSTL category types are there? Okay, JSTL types are core tag libraries. Okay, core tag libraries is like if you want to display something in the browser, or if you want to iterate, if you want to check the conditions, if else conditions, if you want to switch conditions, if you want to check, and if you want to split the string or somewhere like that, you can do up. If you want to set the data, everything we can do by using core tags. Okay, most of the times we'll use only core tags. None of these are we will not use it. Okay, most of the times we are not using formatting tags. If you want to format of any code, then we can use a formatting tags. Functions, if you want to do any of the functions, if you want to call up any string related functions, then by using functions JSTL tag libraries, we can do that one. Other one is SQL. If you want to perform anything that is related to the database, then we can use of SQL tag library. And XML file. XML tags means if you want to perform any of the XML related operations, then we can use of XML tags. Okay, but we are using of for time being JSP. Now mostly we'll use core tag libraries. Now we'll start off core tag libraries, and let's see what is the tag lib directive for each and everything. For core tag libraries, for formatting, function, SQL and XML. Let's see what is the tag lib directive. I told you the tag lib directive we will discuss as part of JSTL. I told you, right? Now see that if we want to use JSTL compulsory in inbuilt along with JSP, along with JSP-API.jar, we will not get this JSTL library. Compulsory, we need to add extra library to perform any operation on JSTL. Okay, now this is the syntax for tag lib directives. Okay, J less than percentage at the date before you are using of include directive as well as page. Now the tag lib directive is that time we didn't discuss it. Now the tag lib directive will use as part of JSTL. Okay, what is tag libraries? There are some tags is available in this core tag libraries. Okay, whatever that tag lib directive and URI. The URI is this one. Okay, now go and this is of one of the library taglib directory. Now we will see. So whatever the tags that are part of this one, it will be we can get through the prefix of C or core. Whatever you can use, we can use just simply given as only C. Okay, this is for getting of all the tags that are present in core tag libraries. Okay, out token, if else, if else, and for each tokens like that, multiple tags are there. Okay, for them we can get by using the prefix with colon C colon the tag name. Okay, for getting a function related one, taglib prefix is fn I have given, and url I have given as URL I have given it as this one. For functions, prefix I have given as fn. The tags which are part of a function we can get by using fn. In the same way for format related, and other one is SQL related one. These are the tag lists that we can use, depends on our requirement. Now we will start using of core tag libraries. Core tag libraries. What is core tag libraries? It defines some standard actions to perform programming stuff like some conditions, loops, okay, and if you want to do of some operations, setting the values and writing some output to the client, okay, redirecting all those things we can do by using JSTL core tags. Some of them we can see most important one, that is C colon out. What is the use of C colon out? C colon set, C colon if, choose, when, otherwise, for each, for token, remove, catch. Okay. What is where we can use these tags to remove Java code? To remove Java code from JSP, where we need to use and how to use these core JSTL tag libraries. Now let's see. To get the JSTL behavior, compulsory we need to add some libraries in the code path, our code. Otherwise, it will not work out. Let's see which I have added as part of lib directive. Welcome here. Test to JSP, not this. Yeah, I have added somewhere. Yeah. See, compulsory this JSTL jar is, otherwise it will not work out. Okay, let's say for suppose just I copy pasted in the JSTL. Copy. Now if I am removing this one, let's close all others. Now C colon first one is index, we'll see. Now let's remove this one. If I am removing this one, it will not work out. See, all JSPs are giving errors. If I am not, if I am removing the core tags, guys, did you observe? So inside this we are using of we are using C colon out. First example, see that it is part of the JSTL tag library. Okay, the tag lib and URI is core tag. For prefix I am giving as C. Okay, so with C I can get all the properties, all the tags of core tag. Core tag I can get all. Okay, now if you want to see, you can see all of them also. C colon. C colon. Here is one second. Let me add that back here. Okay, you got it right. So here without the JSTL library, we can't. We will get the error in the our project. Now let's roll back it. Okay. Now let's see. C colon. See that? So I'm seeing of all the tags which are part of core tag. all part of core tag. Now, what is the use of see out? What is the use of see out? That we will see. Okay, compulsory we need to add this line in the JSP to use of core tag libraries as part of the JSTL. Now, so what we are doing normally to print off some message, to print off some message to the client, what we are writing before, we are using of percentage this one and scriptlet, right? Now directly out dot pri print ln of they are giving some message like this, right or not? So in case of this is Java code, right or not, guys? This is Java code, right?
Yes, sir.
Now I don't want to write Java code in this part. Now what I want to write, whatever the string I want to the browser, I want to directly use C out, C colon, by using C colon out is equal to the out.println. Okay. Now if I'm removing this comment part and use of this. So what it is doing? It is giving of welcome to JSTL, but it is here is for value we need of this dollar symbol. Even without this also, but we will use of that dollar symbol will use. Okay. Welcome to JSTL. Right now. Now let's see. This is for different purpose I have written that, let's keep it for time being. Okay. Now, so as part of this, what I am doing, C colon out and value. What I am doing as part of normally to get some data from, whatever that input data I am sending here. Okay, username and password I am sending, and click on submit button means I'm calling some post method. I want that data of username and password in coreout.jsp. Coreout.jsp. Normally, how can we write? By using scriptlet, we can write off request dot get parameter. Right, guys? Correct or not? We need to get the data by using request dot get parameter. Right?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Now, my requirement is I don't want to write Java code, right? So, how can I get the data in the by using JSTL tags? Okay, by using see here, remove for this for time being. Now, username just for displaying C colon out value from where I need to get dollar. For getting the parameters means compulsory we need to use dollar open bracket param and the name of the parameter. Name of the parameter. If that is not there, then default value it will go. Let's for time being remove the default value. Okay. What is the value of default value? I'll tell you. Now let's run this JSP. So I'm giving some Raman and test 123 and click on submit. Click on submit. So what we are getting? Username is called Raman and password is test 123. Right or not? By using, if I'm removing these things directly, if I'm keeping, we will not get the data. Okay, guys. If you want, you can try that. See, we are getting empty. Compulsory as part of, if you want to get some form parameters in by using out JSTL tag library, we need of param name. Okay, and along with that, let's say for example, control Y. So in this case, if value is not there, default is set some value. Just assume that. Okay, then in that case, then this default attribute is required. Now go back and click on submit. So what is these values? Did I enter these values? The entered values are 1 2 3 4, just assume. Okay, Raman and test 1 2 3 4, right? Let's click on. But here we are getting IBC and test 1 2 3. What is these values? These are default values. If the parameter values are not there, then default is set these two values, IBC and IBC as username and test 1 2 3 as password. Is it clear, guys? This one?
Yes, sir.
We need to use of param attribute. We need to use of param attribute to get that parameter values. This is the first one for setting, for displaying of parameters. The next one is set parameter. If you want to set some data, you are trying to set some data, then by using set attribute, by using set attribute, we can set the data. Now let's see. So now what I am doing, C colon variable name is X I have given, okay, and one more variable name is Y. The value of X is I have given 10 and the scope is request only for one time. It will be available until the request which you are trying to access of course.jsp, until that time only it is available, this X value. Okay, now the Y value also I scope I set as request. Okay, now next what I'm doing, I want to sum up these two values. C colon set variable value is sum and value of that is dollar of open and close brackets. I'm summing up both X and Y variable. Okay, and that I'm storing inside application dot scope. Application scope means it is for entire application. To whoever want to access this value, sum of value, then they can access it. Okay, now let's see through practically what is the request scope, response request scope, session scope and application scope. Now what is the sum value is coming, guys? Now sum value is result is the C colon out value of sum is the variable name. Sum is the variable name that I am displaying in the next line, right? So 10 plus 20, 30. In this page it is available. Now let's say if I am keeping as a request, this also I am keeping as request, and I want to get the sum value in different JSP, in different JSP, that is C colon out also I have given, right? See, if I'm executing up, don't worry about these things that we have done. Okay, now let's this is core is sum is next, try to do once again. Now I want to use of the same value, this one. Now core out, let's try to execute of I want to get this 30 value which is available in some property. The some property, the variable which is available in the C set out.jsp I want to get the same variable in core out.jsp. Okay, now let's try to core out.jsp. See, this is coming. Now let's go and not this behavior. I'm thinking it should be, it is before in application scope. That is the reason it is coming. Now the value is 30. Now out. See that the value is not coming because that value is only for that request. Once the execution of C core set.jsp, then that value will not be available to others. Okay, let's say for suppose if I am keeping in session, then this value will be available to the user who logged in until log out. Until log out. Now let's try to this value is now 30. Now execute of, we are setting that value in the session scope. Now see, now we are getting that value in the other page also. Okay, if I'm executing of some other JSP also, wherever you are adding this part, this SQL out value equal to dollar value sum means this already available in the session scope. This can be accessed within that who the user who logged in any of the JSP, he can get this value. Okay, now but not other users, but not for other users who logged in, apart from the person who not logged in, they can't access this variable. Okay, now my requirement is I want to give this to all people, then we need to keep in application scope. Application scope means then it is available to all the users, are available to all the users. Now let's try to test it. But you can't identify the difference now. Now both session and both the values will give the value. Now out, see that it is giving a 30 value. That means that it can this if you are keeping the values inside session and application, session means within that user who logged into the application. Okay, until he log out, he can get this value in any of the pages if he want. Okay, now if you are keeping the value, some value in the application, then irrespective of single user, all people can access that value in any of the user in any of the pages. Okay, is it clear guys, the scope and with set value, set attribute?
Yes, sir.
Now the next property, next tag is remove. Okay, if you want to remove that value from the scope, if you want to remove the value from the scope, then we have a called, we have C colon remove. Here what I did, I kept it as C colon session, right? After displaying my value, after displaying it, I am removing that value and I'm getting up some. If value is not there, just give default value 1000. If there is no sum value is available, then give the default sum value is 1000. Now let's see that. So both are given as request or whatever it is. Page session means within this page, the meaning of that current page. Okay, and the value I'm keeping in session, and after I displayed it, I'm removing the values of x, y and sum in the scope. X and y are available in the page scope and sum is available in the session scope. After that we are trying to display that sum value. Okay, that time it will not get that sum value from session scope. The default value it should display. Now let's see. First it should display 100, next should display 1000. See guys, now the meaning of that is first it is displayed, right? So that means that that time it is the value is available in the session scope and this value is displayed as 100 by summing of 40 and 60, right? Now after that I have removed that values of x and y and say some values from page and session scope by using C colon remove attribute, C colon remove tag. I have removed that. So that is the reason when I am trying to display of some value, okay, it is removed from the session scope. That is the reason the 1000 default value is coming. Guys, that is for remove part, remove tag. Okay. Now next one is now next to go if condition. If you want to execute the condition based, if you want to execute condition based some value, some logic you want to do, then C colon if, C colon set is for setting the data, C colon out is to print that, C colon remove is to remove particular attribute in the specified scope. Okay. Now C colon if, right? Now let's go and check up that C colon if. So as part of this, what I am doing? So I have created one variable x and I am value setting is 10, and scope also I kept as request scope only within this page, the meaning. Okay. And I want to execute this logic. If x value is equal to 10, then only print this value, otherwise don't print it. Now let's see. See, x value is equal to 10. Let's say for suppose if I modified it, if I modify it to 11. Okay. Now it should not display that message now this time. Now this time it is not displayed the message. That means that the condition is not satisfied. Okay. That's where the C colon if condition is used for conditional checks. Okay. Now the next one is for each. Next one is for each. The for each is like it is like a for loop. It is like a for loop. If you want to iterate the data for multiple number of times, then we can use of for each. Now we'll see of some example. So C colon for each. Now what I am doing, C colon for each. Now let's see. So what I have taken, just assume that it is there in the servlet. This code is available in the servlet. For temporarily I have written this code in the scriptlet. Okay. Now I have taken some names in the array. I have taken some names in the array. Okay. I want to iterate this data. I want to iterate this data, and I kept this data inside application scope or page context dot. We'll call it as a page context or application. Both are same. Page context dot set attribute of names. Whatever the names that array I've created, I am keeping inside the scope, page scope. Okay, page context scope. Now I want to iterate that data. I want to iterate that data. Then by using C colon for each. C colon for each. Now items is one of the attribute in C colon for each. C colon, it will show control X items. See, these are, it will show what are the inner attributes of for each. Okay, it will show that. Now that dollar and open brace and the name of the variable which is in the scope, page context scope, we need to give this name inside items. And what type of operations? All are string type, right? Where for that string I have given one name. Okay, for each time it will be coming into this variable, and that value I am displaying. This begin index and end index, if you want to limit the number of records to be iterate, then we can give off begin index and end index. Now see, begin index 0 and end index. End is just assume 3. Okay, 0 1 2 3 4 values is there. Even though if you are not giving also, it will execute. If you are not giving these two also, now let's run it. See, the name is Ram, Ashok, Jay, and Dilip. Okay, now let's say for suppose. For suppose I don't want of all. Okay, I want one to two or two to three. 2, 3 are just to only two I want. Just assume 0, comma first index. I don't want of all other index. Now just refresh it. See, only first two is displaying. Rest of them are not display. If you want of 2 and 3, okay, it will start from 0, guys. Okay, the next two are Ram and Ashok is coming. Now this time it will give of other two, J and Dilip. Okay, right or not? J and Dilip. If you want, if you are not mentioning, it will give full. Okay, it iterated all. If you want of give the begin index and end index, if you want to only limited records, then by using this begin index and end index, begin and end attributes of that for each, we can limit the records. Okay, now that is what C colon for each. Is it clear, guys? Guys, is it clear? It is like a for loop, guys. For int I equal 0, I less than n, I plus plus, right? In the same way, for each is there, right? It will start from, this is the list of data, this is the variable name. Okay, each time it will give one value inside this name that I am printing here. And if you want to restrict the data, then begin and end attributes will be required. We need to pass values for them. Based on that, it will restrict that data which you want to display, the number of records. Is it clear, guys? This one for each? Clear? Not clear means I
Yes, sir.
will it again. It is just like a for loop. Okay, how exactly we are going to iterate the for loop? For int I equal 0, I less than, like that we are going to iterate, right? Or for each loop also we can. Here also it is same. It is the list of attributes, just assume, and this is the each type. Okay, string type. So where name, and if you want begin and end, you can give that. Otherwise directly we can give that variable name. Each time it will print that value. Okay, now the next part is switch case. Next part is switch case. Now this time what we are going to do? This time we are choosing case, switch case. Okay, case statement, whichever it is satisfied, only that condition will execute. Okay, case. Did I have written it somewhere? I have got choose. Yeah, it is of choose. Choose means it is of let's go and see. JSTL choose means choose when otherwise. These are the three conditions. Okay, three conditions. Now just assume that I have some value set in the some variable salary equal to in the session scope, some 4 lakhs I have set in the session. Okay, now my requirement is I want to check the conditional based value I want to display. Condition based I want to, before we are using only if condition, right? Now we will see multiple conditions. Okay, after setting the value inside session with salary variable as 4 lakhs. Okay, 4 lakhs, or let's keep it some amount. Okay, now you can now what I am doing, so after that, first time your salary is 4 lakhs, whether salary is very low or whether salary is very good, or if it is greater than 1 lakh good, or less than 0 not satisfying this condition means no comments. I want to give off no comments if that case. Okay, if greater than 1 lakh means I want to give off some message salary is very good. If less than 0 means then salary is very low to serve. I am giving some just message. Now let's see, or else already see your salary is 4 lakh and salary is very good. Now let's see, change it. Okay, now let's see, refresh it. See, there is no comment on that, right? Because this condition is satisfying. Let's say if salary is minus. Let's me try for minus, whether it will work out or not. Let's see. See, salary is too low to survive, right? That means that this condition is satisfying first. If this is not, then if greater than 1 lakh means this condition is satisfying. If both are not satisfying, defaultly the otherwise satisfying. Is it clear, guys? This one,
Yes, sir.
choose, when, and otherwise. Three types here. Okay. Now I'm thinking, let me check off what else is pending. The last one is tokens. I want to split off my string. I want to split, let's say how string is there. I want to split based on some delimiter. Based on delimiter. Let's say for suppose, let's wear it tokens. Let's take it some values. I've taken off, I created one see tokens for tokens. Items I am created here only. Surya, Suman and Mohan, some names I have given here based on delimiter I have given as separated by using comma. Right? Now I want to separate this one by using comma and iterate them. Then by using for tokens, we can split that string and then we can iterate the data. Okay, each value to be stored in the name, and that value I'm storing in the next line within the for tokens only. This one everything should be in within for tokens. Okay, now let's run as this. See, Surya, Suman, Mohan, and Navin is coming as part of whatever that we have added here. Those will be splitted by comma separated, and those I am iterating by using this for tokens. This is what the JSTL, guys. Is it clear, guys? These are the to remove of Java code from JSP. The JSTL will be used, and it is not recommended to write Java code inside JSPs. That's where the Sun Microsystem people, Sun people released JSTL to remove the Java code from JSPs. Is it clear, guys? This part till now, before we are writing Java code inside JSpace. As part of JSTL, we didn't write any Java code, right or not? Right, guys? Clear or not, guys? If you are
Yes, sir.
practicing it, then it is good, guys. Okay, only listening is not sufficient. Please practice it. Okay, and tomorrow I will explain about one project with MVC design pattern. Okay, what is MVC design? What is design pattern? And I will explain about MVC design pattern, and then one project, one or two some sample projects. Okay, the code means we can get from anywhere, guys. Okay, the understanding is main important. Understanding is main important. In Google, lot of projects is there. Okay, we can download it, but we need to understand that code. That is main important. Okay, that I will show you tomorrow. One or two applications, I'll show you that for better understanding, and then after that I'll start off Hibernate. Okay, guys, is it fine? Okay, guys, that's what for today's class. Okay, maybe we'll meet again tomorrow with some examples, some JSP Servlet and with the JDBC project. I'll explain tomorrow. Okay, yeah, thank you, guys.